Is it a sub tank or is it an RBA? What if I told you it was a dripper too? That's right. This thing is all three in one. Hey, this is George with Evolution Vape. And yes, you did hear right. This thing is a dripper, a sub tank, and it has an RBA portion all in one device. Sound interesting? Yes, this thing is amazing, guys. It's three in one. You got a dripper, you got a sub tank, and you got an RBA portion for that sub tank. All I have to say is wow. This is something new to the market. This thing is completely different than your regular old sub tank. When I first heard about this device, I heard it's a sub tank, and I was like, oh, whatever, just another sub tank. Then I heard it had an RBA portion for the sub tank, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then I heard it was a dripper, and I was like, I need it. So, I mean, right now I'm in RBA mode. I got a dual macro coil, or no, I'm sorry, a dual micro coil in here, 6 wrap around a 2.4 millimeter screw, and it's vaping great. I had this build in here for like 3-4 days now, and it's just been nonstop performance. I'm gonna take another hit, and what I'm gonna do is we're gonna dive down up close and personal, take the Rage sub tank 3 in 1, take it up close. I'm gonna take it all apart, and I'm gonna show you guys how to put it all together in all 3 different configurations. We're gonna take one more hit, and then we're gonna dive up close. Alright guys, here we are with the up close and personal with the Rage Sub Tank 3 in 1 designed by Itsuwa. Here's the boxing for you guys. If you guys want to read this, you can. Go ahead and pause the video. I do want to mention that it says a 0.5 ohm coil. That is included, but the 0.3 down here is not included. Those are not ready yet. Designed by Vapicool and manufactured by Itsuwa. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alright, let's go ahead and open it. Born in America. And then it says the rage of the industry. The boxing on this thing is ridiculously tight. Okay, let's start with this. This is your extra goodie bag, which include some coils, cotton, extra screws, and a blue screwdriver. Alright, you'll see that this kit contains a tank portion and a top cap portion and 2 drip tips. Let's go ahead and open this now. Like I said, the packaging is ridiculous. It's squeaking. There we go. And right here we have a user manual showing you how to put it together and assemble it. I'll be showing you how to do that as well. Over here we do have a warranty card. Alright, let's go ahead and take this bad boy out. Let's start with the tank portion. Alright, let's start off with this for right now. This is the tank portion with the drip tip, and this down here is the base. I'm going to take apart every piece and show you guys how to put them together. We'll just set that aside. Next up is the top cap to the RDA portion of this device. Alright, okay. Now we'll pull this out. Okay, now that we got everything out of the boxing, I'm going to go ahead and disassemble everything and show you guys how to put it all together in all 3 configurations. Alright guys, I went ahead and disassembled all the pieces. There's about a dozen pieces here, and it looks intimidating, but I promise it's not. I'm going to explain what each piece does and how it goes together. I'm going to show you guys how to put this together in all 3 configurations. Let's start with the drip tips. Here's the first one. This one's wide bore. This tip is supposed to be for the RDA, but you can use both tips for the tank or the dripper. It's up to you. Double O-ring at the base. It's wide bore. Let's go ahead and start with the next one. We got this drip tip. It's a little bit more restricted. You got a Delrin insulator at the base, and it does have airflow. 1 slot only. Okay, let's go on to the next, which is the glass protector, which has a nice design on it. And then this is the glass itself. It has a 6 milliliter capacity. Next up is the top cap for the tank. See there, it says Rage, and then on the back it says Itsuwa. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here's the threads, which are buttery smooth. Next up is the top cap for the RDA. This is the outer barrel slash top cap with the adjustable airflow. Single O-ring. Up next is the top cap itself, or the barrel. You got Rage, laser etched inside, Itua, and you have 4 horizontal slots. That's the top cap. Up next is the base itself. Threads are clean. Here's your airflow. This is bottom airflow. You have 2 horizontal slots, and then you have 3 smaller holes for a restricted lung hit, and adjustable airflow goes like this. Now you have the 3 holes open. Turn it again, and both horizontal slots are open. By the way, this is a 510 pin, and it is protruding, and it is adjustable. Next up, we have the outer barrel for the RBA portion. Here's the threads, which are smooth. Next up is the chimney for the RBA portion. Here's the threads. Next up is the deck itself for the RBA and RDA. There's your bottom airflow. Got the threads here, and it is a 4-post design with a positive block. Negatives are milled into the deck, as you guys can see. Phillip head screws. And see these little slots right here? Yeah, that's for your wick. Very important. Whenever you're wicking on this deck, you always want to put your wick inside this slot. Next up is the coil head for just regular sub-tank mode. I mean, look how big this thing is. This thing is huge, guys. Honestly. I mean, let's just compare it to something. For instance, I got a penny right here. I mean, look at the size difference. Look how big the coil is, and look how old and dirty this penny is. It's insane. But you screw this top off. Oh, I dropped it. So you screw that top part off, and down here you'll see that you have your wick and your coil. The coil inside of this coil head is a parallel build, which I thought was pretty neat. It hits great, actually, and it wicks great. It is a 0.5, as you guys can see. So let's go ahead and put it into regular sub-tank mode. What you're going to need is, of course, the coil head. You're going to need the tank protector if you want. I'm going to be using it just to show you guys. The base and the top cap for the tank. So let's go ahead and put the coil head in first. Put your threads in and screw it down just like that. Put your glass tank on top, which is a press fit, by the way. Throw that on top. Primer up with some juice. Fill up the tank, and you're ready to go. Last step is to put on the top cap. Just like so. Now you're in regular sub-tank mode. But let's say you guys didn't want to do regular sub-tank mode. What if you guys wanted to go into RBA mode? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how. First off, you're going to need the deck right here. You're going to need your base. You get the deck, screw it into the base. Screw that in. Then let's say you had your build in here, whatever kind of build you wanted. You can actually, these post holes are huge. You could fit in 20 gauge if you wanted. I've seen it and I've done it before. I've also fit a parallel in here. But let's say you had your build and your wick already. All you're going to do is put the top cap for the RBA on. Screw that on like so. Make sure it's nice and tight. Then you're going to put the chimney on top so that the threads with the top cap of the tank can meet up with the chimney. Once that's screwed on tight, you're going to get the tank, press fit that down, and if you wanted, you can put this on, and you're going to get the top cap, screw that down. And there you are. You are now in RBA mode. Quick thing I do want to mention real quick is when you screw this top cap down, especially on RBA mode, you got to find your happy medium, because if you screw it down too hard, it's going to leak, and it's going to leak very bad through the bottom airflow. Reason being is because when you screw this down too tight, the chimney unscrews. So the tighter I go up here, the looser it gets down here. And that's a bad thing because all the juice will leak through. That's something you don't want to do. So you usually got to find your happy medium between screwing it down too tight and too loose. So I usually do it about right there just before it gets tight. That's all I wanted to mention for that. But let's say you didn't want to do RBA mode or sub-tank mode. What if you just wanted to drip? Well, you can do that, and I'm going to show you how to do that too. First off, let's say you got your build in here, you're all wicked up and you're ready to go. All you're going to have to do is get the top cap. This is top airflow. Put it down like that. It press fits in. And then you're going to get the inner barrel slash top cap. Press fit that in like so. It's new, so it's going to... There we go. And adjustable airflow works like this. You got 4 slots, like I said. And whatever you adjust it to on this side is going to be the same thing all across. You can open it up and close it off. And then last but not least, pop on your preferred drip tip. And that's about it for the up close and the assembly and all that fun stuff. Let's go ahead and take it up to FaceTime, talk about the pros, the cons, what I rate this thing from a 1 to a 10, and where you can get one. So that was the up close and personal slash assembly with the Rage sub tank. Let's go ahead and take it to the cons first. First con I want to mention off the bat is it leaks. And it leaks really bad if you don't know how to adjust the top cap. That is one thing I have to mention. I mean, when I first got the device, I was real excited. I was like, ooh, I put my cotton in, I put my build, I put the RBA portion, I was ready to go. I filled it up with juice, I tightened down the top cap, and like, realistically, 3 mils spilled out of the bottom airflow, and that was just such a turn off for me. It made me hate this thing. And then I kind of figured out as I was using it how to adjust this top cap. Because when you tighten down the top cap, like I said in the up close, it reverse threads the chimney. And when the chimney gets loose, all the e-liquid inside of the tank goes inside to your wick and your build, and it leaks out through the bottom. So you have to wick a certain way. All you have to do when you wick actually is just tuck the wick inside the little slots for it. That's what it's for. But when you tighten down this top cap, you gotta find your happy medium. When you first get this device, it's gonna leak on you. But don't get discouraged, please. All you have to do is just find your happy medium, and then this thing it's perfect. It does not. I have no problems with it when I fill it up, when I go, because I found where it's supposed to be and how I'm supposed to tighten it. The next and final con that I have for this device is that they did not include an extra glass. I mean, I've dropped this thing a couple of times already. I even slammed it in the back of my trunk, and it didn't break because I had this thing on, and it's vaping fine. But if it did break, I didn't have an extra glass. So that's a con I have to mention. Most of these tanks today include one, but this one doesn't. That's a con. But those are the only 2 cons that I could find for the Rage. On to the pros. First pro I gotta mention is it's a 3-in-1. You got a dripper, you got an RBA portion, and you got a sub tank. That's awesome. Next pro I want to mention is 6 mil capacity. That's a lot of juice. I go through it, for me personally, I go through it in about an hour and a half. But everyone's different, it's subjective. But for me personally, I go through it in about an hour and a half. Another pro I want to mention is the fact that it does come with 2 drip tips. I think that's pretty cool. One's a little bit more wider than the other, and the other one has some airflow on the drip tip itself, kind of like the Atlantis V2. So I thought that was pretty cool. Next up is the adjustable airflow. I mean, there's tons of it. You got all kinds of airflow on this thing, not only in tank mode, but RDA mode. The airflow is a pro on its own. Another pro I want to mention is the build quality on the deck. It's super easy to build on. I've actually been able to fit a 2-strand 24 gauge parallel inside of this RBA portion and on the deck, and it vaped great. Another pro I want to mention is the vape quality. The performance alone for this thing is astonishing. This thing is amazing on performance. I'm going to take another hit for you guys real quick. I mean, it's pretty good, and that was only at 52 watts with a 0.2 ohm coil. So it vapes pretty darn good. And that's really it for the pros and cons. And by the way, I did forget to mention, soon enough they will be coming out with a 0.3 ohm coil head, and they're going to be coming out with nickel coil heads and titanium coil heads. From a 1 to a 10, I would rate the Rage 3-in-1 sub tank a 7.5 out of 10. And the only thing that's holding me back from giving this device a perfect 10 is the fact that it leaks. And like I said, it leaks bad. But that's it. The vape shop that sent this to me to review for you guys goes by the name of VapeSiggy, vapesiggy.com. I will leave a link in the description below. He's selling this online for $59.95. And for the price alone, that's another pro. I mean, you're getting 3 atomizers in one, basically. So that's pretty cool. You can go ahead and hit us up on Instagram and Twitter @_evolutionvape_ for Instagram and Twitter. It's the same name. Keep up with the latest news, Evolution Vape. And remember, you're not living life until you vape life. Thanks for watching, guys.